On January 27th of this year, I made a huge mistake. If you don't know me, hi. My name is Riz and I recently got into powerlifting. You could say I got started off on a bad note, but that would be an understatement. You see, I want to become the strongest girl on earth. I want to be able to lift more than all the guys at the gym. And most importantly, I want to scare them a little. Hey, click that subscribe button down below so you don't miss my next video coming out all about starting my powerlifting journey, where I'll talk about programming, starting out, and all that fun stuff. I hit a bit of a roadblock, and it was purely my fault, and I'm fully aware of that. But I want to share this small story of mine of a big mistake I made to hopefully prevent you from doing the same thing. Out of all the exercises, I was doing farmer's walk or farmer's carry on January 27th. And to make a long story short, I was ego lifting. I was using weights that were way too heavy for me, and I was setting them down with a rounded back. And I was doing all this other nonsense just to impress a buddy of mine at the gym. Never ever do this, please. The next day, I could barely get out of bed. I had to mentally hype myself up almost as much as I do for a big 5x5 squats just to stand up. It was extraordinarily painful, and of course I had to cancel all my weekend plans. Every position that I sat, stood, or even lied in hurt my low back like you wouldn't believe. And I popped like 3 extra strength Alevs and I felt absolutely no relief. That's when I knew it was bad. That week, I took things slow, I did light exercise at the gym, and I even went to physio to get some ultrasound treatment, which helped. Then about a week later, my pain was like completely gone. I was like, cool, let's get back into things. Just when you thought I couldn't get any dumber, right? So I went into my normal powerlifting routine the Monday about a week and a half after the injury. And I did my 5x5 squats, and right after 5x5 bench, I started to feel my low back hurt again. I was like, shit. I only did a couple sets of like 3 deadlifts just to keep it really light, which I probably shouldn't have done anyways, and then I just called my workout done. Then for that entire week, every time I sat for longer than 30 seconds, I would feel my low back starting to hurt again. And I mean like bad, like a really annoying aching pain. It lasted for the whole week, so I started to really worry at that point. I called a chiropractor and he had an opening for that Friday. After doing some assessments, he said it's likely a strain of somewhere in my QL or erector spinae that's really setting things on fire and causing a lot of pain. He did some pressure point therapy and recommended that I just stick to strengthening the supporting muscles like core and glute and all that sort of thing. And I can tell you guys, doing side plank and single leg glute bridges is not a fun time whatsoever. Almost a week later, the pain is slowly starting to get better. I'm still focusing on strengthening my core and glutes, just working on rehab like those things and mobility as well. The chiro recommended that when I'm feeling up to it, I can start at 60% of my weight for squats and all the big lifts. And if it feels good, then every 2 sessions, I can increase the intensity by 10% each time. I still sit for longer periods of time, but even after like 15 minutes, it still starts to hurt and I have to walk around a little bit. I use a heat pad at least once a day on my back, focus on mobility, and I'm stretching it every single day. I was honestly very concerned and worried, to be real with you, because whenever I tweaked my back or messed up something in the gym, I'd feel pain for maybe like a day or 2 and then it'd be completely gone. But this has been persisting on for weeks, so I knew I really messed up. Eventually, all the physio, chiropractor, and massage therapy sessions, in addition to my own mobility and rehab, started to help with the pain. At this point, I think it's gonna be at least another month or so until I can get back to lifting the numbers I was lifting before, which sucks. In the moment, there was a lot of self-pity, complaining, whining, and crying. But I realized something really key out of all of this. When you're on a path to a specific goal, it's not always a straight line. Sometimes you end up on these sketchy back roads where you're like, what the heck? Where am I? And there's no GPS there to say recalculating and get you back on track. You just gotta kind of figure that shit out on your own. But eventually, you will get back to the main road and continue your journey. So now I feel like, although that won't be the only sketchy sad road I encounter, at least now I'm a little bit more equipped to handling that sort of situation and getting myself back on track. And also, I am never ever going to ego lift again. If you get one thing out of this, please let that be: never ever lift heavy shit to impress someone, and leave your ego at the door and lock that damn door. I really appreciate you guys clicking and watching this video till the end. I hope you learned something from this. Please take my learning lesson and use it as a preventative measure to avoid this from happening to you in your powerlifting or weightlifting or just gym journey in general. That was a lot of G's. Anyways, I hope that you guys have a killer day. Bye!